time for another episode of Cheap Beer Review. Here are your hosts, Matt the Old Florida Boy and Trailblazer Tim. Okay, here we are on another episode of Cheap Beer Review. This is Matt the Old Florida Boy with
Trailblazer Tim.
So, after several comments and several messages from you, our viewers, we decided to take Cheap Beer Review in a little bit different direction.
And what are we doing today?
Well, we're going to be reviewing a couple of not so cheap beer reviews, specifically a couple of IPAs that I think you'll like. So we're going to review them based on 5 different criteria now. Now we're getting fancy.
All right, so let me go ahead and let's pull out those different judgmental areas that we're going to be taking a look at and what we're going to be judging these beers on. All right, so let's start with what beer we have today. We're trying out the same kind of beer. There's you, Matt. This right here is the Cigar City Jai Alai. Y'all know what Jai Alai is. It's that game, you know. They whip around the balls and stuff like that, and people bet on them and all that good stuff and everything. Cigar City Jai Alai. It's IPA beer. It's Indian Pale Ale and stuff. So
I didn't even know this was a beer. I thought it was just a game.
No, man, this is a really tasty looking beer. And because I've heard many people, and especially I'm going to give credit where credit is due, Dave, the Florida Pirate, commented on one of our last cheap beer reviews, hey, why don't you guys go ahead and pour your beer into a glass so we can see what the color is on there. So that's what we're going to do. What do you got there? What kind of cup is that?
I have a Le Cellier from Epcot, Canada.
Ah, and I've got the Biergarten from Epcot, Germany.
Das Biergarten.
That's right.
Das Biergarten. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to rate these beers on 5 different areas. Number 1 is taste. Number 2 is drinkability. Number 3 is price. Number 4 is alcohol content. And number 5, would we buy it again?
Dang.
Because that's important.
Why don't we go ahead and crack these beers open, get them in the cups, and see what we got. All right, we'll see what we got. We got the Cigar City Jai Alai Indian Pale Ale. Let's go ahead and throw that in the hatch.
All right.
I like the sound of that.
Smells orangey.
I believe this is a citrus beer, and it's locally made in Tampa, which is on the other side of the state from where we're at.
Wow, look at the head on that thing.
I'm telling you, I don't know if I can get the whole thing in there. Let's see what we got.
I totally can't get mine in there.
That's the beer. Look at that, baby. Oh, yes.
Das Boot. Beer. Das Bier.
All right, so I think the thing we really need to talk about the most is before we get into these gradings on these beers and everything like that, this is a local beer that is made here in Florida, in Tampa, Florida. It is a Cigar City Jai Alai, and it's definitely it's a citrusy type of beer.
It's definitely strong. It's definitely an IPA.
6 hops. Varieties and stuff like that. So I have a reason to believe that this is going to be a very, very tasty beer review. All right, drinkability.
All right, drinkability test
on this beer. Okay, right. We already know what it tastes like and stuff. Yeah. So let's see how it feels.
Okay.
You know, that's got a it's got a bite at the end of that.
It gets, if you drink 2 swallows real quick, it actually gets a little bit better.
That's almost like any beer. But the drinkability, the bodiness on this, the color and stuff, this is a really well put together beer. Like I said, it's local. It's out of Tampa, out by Ybor City and stuff like that. Cigar City Jai Alai. I figure I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rate the drinkability on that one. And let's see what we have with the drinkability on this IPA Indian Pale Ale and stuff.
There's an initial shock, but it kind of wears off pretty quick. Okay, so
I'm going to rate the drinkability on this beer a 5. That's what I'm going to give this beer today, is a 5 on the drinkability. And the reason why is because I think that this is one of those craft beers where, especially if it's a 16-ounce can like this, you drink about 4 of them, and I think the taste and the flavor and everything on there is going to become quite rich to the point where you're probably going to want to jump over and drink something more like a Miller Lite or whatever. What do you got, Matt?
My drinkability came out to be 4.
That's not too bad. And why is that?
It's just For me, it's too heavy and it's too sharp.
It is kind of a heavy beer,
Yeah,
you know.
it really is.
I don't think
It
it's
really
as heavy as that Colt 45 crap that you.
Hey, I like Colt 45.
Malt
Well,
liquor.
everybody knows that.
Yeah, well,
stuff.
you know, okay.
All right, so we're
let's
gonna
go on to the next
We're
category.
going to move on to the price on this beer, okay? Now, let me tell you, because I'm the one that picked up the cost on this. A can of this beer, 16 ounce. Now, they sell these in the 6-pack cans of the 12 ounce and stuff, but these cans right here at the local Wawa gas station were $2.29 a piece.
At the Wawa.
Right. So that's the only place I could find these beers in a 16-ounce can, though. Remember, that's just a little bit less than a whole 4-pack of that shit we've been drinking the last few weeks and stuff. So the price on this is, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rate this. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you what I think truly I feel on the price on this beer. Yeah.
Price versus everything else.
Well, the price makes a lot of difference when it comes to drinking beer because either you got $10 or you got $5.
So,
and stuff.
what do you got for price?
I'm going to match you with a 4. I like it. I think that it's worth. I would probably pay more, like $1.99 for something like that. But you know, I can get a big 24-ounce can of something a little cheaper.
I think it's a little overrated for the
So
price.
total on that's going to be an 8. It's got an 8 between Matt and I.
I think it's a little overrated for the price. I don't know. When we get down there, we're going to tell you whether we would buy it again or not.
Right. All right, so the next category that we have here is going to be category number 4. We're going to be judging this on, and it's going to be the alcohol percentage on this type of beer.
The alcohol percentage is clearly posted on the can 7.5%, 7.5% alcohol,
So what
which is not bad.
Well, I have to say that with that,
Your normal Miller Lite is what, 2.9? You know, something like that, 3% maybe.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm gonna grade this.
All right. Alcohol content.
I came in with a 7. Okay, that's what I'm going to give this for the alcohol content on this particular beer. What did you come up with, Matt?
As far as alcohol content of this IPA versus a normal Miller Lite or a Bud Light or something like that, I'm going to give it an 8.
Not bad.
I'm going to give it an 8.
So that's a total of 15 we're going to have.
If you're going to pay the price to get a 4-pack or a 6-pack, I want the alcohol content to
You
be
want
there.
more bang for the
That's
buck.
right. I want more bang for the buck.
And straight out saying and stuff like that. You know, a lot of these beers out there that have that kind of alcohol content, they're really brutal to try to put down. The drinkability would be almost a 0 in my opinion. But that's what you're getting. You're getting a cheap beer with a high alcohol content designed to get you all shit-faced really fast. This is actually enjoyable and
Like Colt 45 malt liquor.
it is. You know,
I mean,
but this is
definitely better than Colt 45 malt liquor.
It's got
by
a
the way.
pretty smooth flavor. It's got a citrusy kind of a kick aftertaste and stuff. But that's what you're kind of looking at when you're getting into IPAs and craft beers.
And I'm not big on the citrusy aftertaste thing. So.
No, you know, and they have the grapefruit beer out there at Epcot at Disney and stuff like that at the German pavilion and stuff. And
You
that's,
should never put fruit in your beer.
It's not
by the
really a
way.
good idea. The only time I put fruit in my beer would be 2 different beers that I can think of. That would be a shock top with a piece of orange in there.
You get a fruity beer if you do that.
Or a Corona with a lime.
That's right.
All right, those are the only 2. Outside
right.
of that, if you're just brewing it and it's making it taste like that, that kind of brought the level down just a little
Are
bit.
we ready for number 5?
Yes. Okay, so the last category we have is would I buy this beer again? Let me go ahead and have a go with this. And
This is a tough one. I mean, this is, I'm going to have to think about this. I'm going to have to take another drink and kind of see.
I'm going to give this category a 9. And the reason why is because I've already bought this beer before. And Matt's already tried this beer years ago when my wife and I used to live out on the beach and stuff like that. So I went ahead and I bought this beer. I bought this beer several times because it's nothing I'm going to go and I'm going to buy every single night. But yes, it's definitely a beer that on a weekend I might want to treat myself to a 4-pack or a 6-pack. It's just a little bit different. It isn't as harsh and tough as some of those IPA beers that are out there. There are
Right.
some of those, like the buckwheat and all that other stuff, and the white ale, the Belgian. You know, there's some of the stuff that's kind of really rough going down that I'd be like, one and done. I'm not going to buy this stuff again. I'll finish the beer I bought, but I'm not going to buy it again. What do you got?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
That's not too bad. That means
I'm gonna give it a 7. Which means I might buy it again. I would consider anything 5 or under that I wouldn't buy again.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't an absolutely.
If I had to, you know, if somebody else wanted to drink it, if we were hanging out at a barbecue or something and doing some steaks or ribs or chicken
we
or
have,
something like
and
that,
drank this.
which we have and drank this, that's right. If we were hanging out at a barbecue or a function, or you know, we were out in the woods or we were going camping and we wanted something special to bring along with us that had a little bit higher alcohol content for obvious reasons.
Don't ask.
For obvious reasons, then I might buy it again.
Well, that's not too bad.
You know, it's not too bad a 7, but for recreational drinking, I wouldn't sit around the garage and drink these and just keep buying them and buying them and buying them.
You'd have to go get a loan because they're pretty darn expensive.
Price versus everything else. So let's wrap this up and let's tally up the scores, and we're gonna bring it back to you.
That ain't too bad. I think the only thing that kind of kicks us back a little bit that would probably scare some people away when it comes to drinking the Cigar City Jai Alai beer, made in Tampa, just on the other across the state here, Ybor City and stuff, would probably be that first initial aftertaste.
And when it's getting warm, the warmer it gets, the sharper and worse it's getting now. So you know, now me and Tim have drank about half of these, and mine is getting kind of tough.
It's getting down there a little ways and stuff, so it's something you definitely, I would say...
It's an acquired taste.
I've never seen
really
the 16 ounce like this. I just saw them in singles up at the gas station and stuff. Usually when I see them, they come in 6-pack cans, and that's the best way. If you're ever going to buy this kind of beer, buy them in 6-pack can, in the 12-ounce cans in the 6-pack. That way, you're going to have that beer go down, and it's still going to be relatively cold by the time it makes it. Because the 16 ounce, I think it's a little bit too much beer for this type of style, and it's going to get to the point where it's going to get kind of pungent a little bit.
It's kind of getting tough. So,
all right, so out of the total possibility of points that this beer could have gotten from our grading would have been 100 points. Okay,
50 for me, 50 for Tim.
Exactly. So today we tallied our points together, and the Cigar City Jai Alai came in at 62 points out of 100, which isn't too bad. I'd give that. You know, that's above. 50%.
That's above 50%.
Right, and
that's above 50%.
It's 100% above the shit we've been drinking. Trust me. So, but 62 out of 100.
Well, you ain't seen nothing yet.
No, I'll tell you what.
I got some pretty cheap ones in my head.
I got beers for days, but we decided to put this video together today and do a couple different things because people wanted to see how nice the beer looked, or if it looked good or looked like shit or something like that. So you got a chance to see us.
No, it looks great. I mean,
it's got a great color.
It's still keeping a lot of bubbles going up. I mean, it's
the effervescent. It's in there.
It looks great. It tastes great. The head on it initially when I poured it was just tremendous.
Right. So what you didn't see on the camera is after our first shot when we came in here, we had to wait for 10 minutes for that stuff to go down.
Yeah, it was tough.
I don't want it on my nose. Like what? Who is that? Chevy? No. I don't know. Who cares? Anyways, so that's been this week's cheap beer review, not so cheap beer review. We decided to drop a couple bucks and,
that's right,
and buy something that's really, you know, a craft beer, but also supporting our local community. It comes down to it because this beer is locally crafted about 150 miles away, right over on the other side of the coast, over outside of Tampa, which is almost directly west from where we're at. That's west coast of Florida. We're on the east coast of Florida and stuff. But yes, I definitely would buy this beer again, just not on a regular basis.
Well, I would buy it again. You know, and we rated it a 62 out of 100 on several different categories, and this is what we're going to start doing. So we're going to start rating these on several different categories, and we're not only going to start doing reviews on cheap beer, we're going to start doing reviews on some better quality craft beers also. So because I think eventually we're going to run out of cheap beer, but would we buy it again? On a whole, yes.
Yeah, you know, because I already have bought this beer
It's
before.
not bad. It's not bad, and you can drink it.
So it's something like, you know, if you got friends coming over and stuff like that, if you want to introduce this beer over to them, they may not like it. It all depends, because some people do like the craft beer. They like the pale ale and stuff like that.
Some people like the more powerful beers. So,
but it isn't undrinkable, and you didn't see us gag or spit anything out, you know, because it's a premium beer. It's in a totally different class than Budweiser, Busch, Miller Lite, all that other stuff that you're drinking and stuff. You know, I mean,
I anticipate that we will have to spit out some in the near future.
oh yeah,
So
trust
we
me.
didn't really have, this was kind of strong. We didn't have to spit it out. So let's wrap this up by saying I hope you guys liked this episode of Cheap Beer Review
Not
and
So
Not
Cheap.
So Cheap Beer Review, and our review of Highlight Cigar City.
It's Cigar City Jai Alai.
IPA.
Yes.
Cigar City Jai Alai.
And it's made over in Ybor City, over next to Tampa
Yep,
and stuff,
next to
which is
Tampa.
known for all the breweries and stuff. And we're keeping it all local.
Okay, if you like this video and you like what we do, just drop us a comment down below. If you have a beer that you would like us to review, just leave a comment and tell us what that beer is. And
Let us know if you guys have ever seen this kind of beer, if it's local up in your area, or not local, but if it's available up in your area, and let us know where you're from, what kind of the part of the country. I know these guys ship this beer all over the world and stuff, but you know, there are regional areas where you can't get this kind of craft beer and stuff. This is right across the state from us, so I see it in almost all the stores.
that's right. This is our job. This is what me and Tim do. We feel it's our duty to review these beers.
He
so
said
that
duty.
you, so that I said duty. We feel it's our duty to review these beers so that you don't make a buying mistake.
That's right. We're
That's
here
right.
to be the scapegoat and stuff, and we love it.
That's
Hey,
right.
Thanks so much for hanging out here on Swamp Rat Survivalists. Until next time, you wish you were here.
Wish you were here.
Take care.